So before I left to come to Korea, I told everyone I'd be talking to them all the time. That didn't quite happen in the first week. Even though I was dropping in when I could with people, I wasn't talking to them as much as I had originally planned, because obviously people's first question is, how is it all going down? I wanted to hear how they were doing, but I didn't want to tell them how I was doing because I wasn't doing very good. So I'm really sorry that I don't have better news to report, but it's on the app, so that's probably why I've got to a point where I've filmed something. Okay, so I want to give a brief little version of why things weren't very great last week. A lot of disorganisation, being told things at the last minute and expected to just act as if I was told it months ago. So last Saturday I went on a long haul flight for the first time in my life. That was interesting. I've actually only been on a plane previously, Spain there and back, which is a 2-hour flight, years ago, I think 2001, and then I jumped straight on a plane without my family for an 11-hour flight. The sort of mood on a graph, well, I guess it'd be this way for you guys. When we went to sit down, there were little things on our seats, so like a little bottle of water, slippers, blanket. And I was like, oh no, I've dropped all my presents. And Nikki was just laughing her head off at me because I had called these things presents, and then I was getting all excited about the TV because I totally forgot that they give you a little TV and it had music on it, and it had pretty much my iPod on there because there was loads of K-pop. And I was like, okay, so I can just sit here and listen to K-pop without even getting out any of my own things. I'm ready for this flight. Also, I thought, and it had like a little sort of Wiimote type thing, like on a little wire for the controller thing. There was like randomly like 2 episodes of Friends on there, and it had Korean subtitles, so I got to check whether I was right about the Hangul spelling of my name, because obviously Phoebe is called Phoebe, and I was correct. But yeah, then the time came when we were meant to be like going to sleep, and I had no idea how difficult it was to sleep on a plane. Nikki had actually warned me beforehand, because I'd kind of been like, oh well, 11 hours isn't that long, like we could just sleep for the whole flight, and then when we wake up we're there. And she was like, ha ha ha, you can try. And I was like, I still don't understand why, but it's just really uncomfortable. It's really difficult to fall asleep. I also needed to wee for like 6 hours. There was a stranger next to me. He was asleep and I needed to get out, and I didn't want to wake him up, and I felt really awkward, so then I was trying to sleep while also needing to pee. So basically we spent most of this flight trying to get some sleep, and probably made up like an hour between us. When it came to like the breakfast serving time, we had hit a point of delirium. Obviously I've heard people talk about jet lag before. I always thought that it just meant that your sleeping pattern was all messed up because you've changed time zones. Essentially you just kind of go insane. It's very dry in there. We both suddenly sat up and had a really bad tummy ache literally at the same time, and we were like, why? We hadn't like had our digestive system like working properly because we hadn't shut down. We land, we get out, we're walking around, the announcements are all in Korean, the words are all in Korean, there's Koreans everywhere. We were just so dead inside from this flight that it just didn't feel like we'd gone anywhere. Even though I'd been in transit for hours, I didn't have that sense of like location. I guess we were just so tired that there was just no room for any emotion. Because for the first couple of days I was thinking like, how does anyone enjoy a holiday that's far away from home? Surely you just spend the whole time there trying to recover from the flight, and then you have to get on a flight again to go home. But I guess the difference is we had to go straight into training the next day. We knew that on the Monday morning that we were going to have to get up about 5:30 in the morning to go and do a medical exam. We pretty much thought we were going to be having like a blood test and maybe a urine test. We go to this place and it is a full medical. I don't know what they were checking, and I do not know why they needed to. All these little like nurses running around, sending us here, there and everywhere to these different floors, to different rooms to get these different things done to us. And we just had no idea it was going to be that extensive. You've just landed in a different country and suddenly people are like probing you all about, and you literally thought you were going to have to pee in a cup. And immediately after that, we went straight to the training centre until about 5:30. Needless to say, a long day. So yeah, the following 3 days pretty much consisted of training, eating, and sleeping. And we had to do homework for training every day as well. It took quite a while to catch up on that sleep. So when it finally gets to the day when we're going to be moving from the hotel to where we're actually staying, turns out to be one of the worst days of my life. We got driven from Gangnam to this bus station, which was meant to take us straight to Sejong, where we're staying. People at the training centre were like all in different branches, so some people were going on that bus, some people going on that bus, and my group is the last group left at this place. Bear in mind, this is just after this guy scammed us all out of 1,000 won, because so everyone else has got on their bus ready to enter their new home. We get told that our bus out of everyone's is the one that doesn't leave for another 45 minutes. The guys who were supposed to be making sure that we made it onto our bus, they just bugger off. We also have no way of talking to people, so we're basically completely alone at this point. We are right in front of like the sort of docking station, barely talking to each other, just staring at this spot, waiting for this bus to come in. Some buses were coming at different times to like what it said on our ticket, but we were like, we should check. And we kept asking the attendants, like, is this bus? Can we get on this bus? Anyo. They kept saying no. It gets to 14:50. Our bus is meant to be there at this point. Oh, no, that bus is gone. Not until 7:10. I don't like to think of myself as an angry person, but this is when my inner rage left my body and I was not in a good mood. It was 3 o'clock and they were saying there was no buses to Sejong until 7. Thankfully, one of the people in our group managed to contact someone. They got us some train tickets, but then that meant that we had to get cabs back to Gangnam where we'd just come from. And then because we had so many like massive suitcases, we had to get 3 cabs. We took them to one place and that was like the wrong place. And then we had to get another set of cabs. And that is making that story way shorter than it was, because there were 6 of us. 2 had gone, the next 2 had gone, then me and Nikki left on the sidewalk trying to talk to these old men who don't understand any English, don't seem to understand the Korean that Nikki is saying either, because she was like, Gangnam Station, 아니요, 없어요. I don't even know how we managed to end up in the same place as the rest of our team. Sheer luck, it must be. We eventually get on this train. Even though that was actually really stressful at the time, it was okay, because the people were really nice to me. I was like freaking out. Just the trust in me had just left because of the amount of things that were going against things that I'd been told. I was just like, I don't even know what to believe anymore. To have like 2 of the longest days in my life happen in the same week, it was crazy. But we made it to Sejong. I'm in my flat right now. Have a really cute bed. But it's a nice flat. It's a cool little thing and it's really close to the school I'm working in. I just didn't want to tell any of that story ever again, to be honest. So if anyone ever asks me, I'll just revert them to this video so I don't have to relive it again, because it was just not fun. Like, I'm downplaying it a lot. So after that day, to get here and find out we had no Wi-Fi, I pretty much spent that evening sneaking into another apartment building lobby to get some Wi-Fi and like sobbing in public at 11 p.m. It makes me feel like I sound like some, spoiled princess that was like crying over Wi-Fi. But when you've had a really bad day and everyone that you usually, talk to is on the other side of the world, where you kind of need some internet to be able to contact them, I just felt heartbroken that I couldn't just get in bed and like call my mum and my boyfriend. It was so horrible. It's not like there's no Wi-Fi anywhere. I can go to places and get it, but it's just different not having it in your house where you can use it whenever you want and talk to people as you're falling asleep, I will have some at some point. It's just I've got to do a lot of logistical things. But my flat is nice, apart from that. All of us have been a bit stressed for the last few days with the random surprises that we kept getting, but hopefully I'll have some better stories for you now that we're gonna get a chance to settle and get routined and like gain our sanity back. Sorry, that's probably quite boring to just hear me talking, but I really could not film any of that. That's why I wanted to wait until a time when I was in a better mood. Like, I literally spent the whole evening in a cafe watching BTS and talking to like my mum and my boyfriend and my friends. This is like the first day that I've had off since I landed, and that was a week ago. And now I'm like in a much better mood because of that. So yeah, I'm gonna stop talking now. But good night, good morning, good stuff.